Alrighty, so we're on EU 2026, January. So we're gonna start by the daily and then take it from there. So what can I see from here is that we're bullish, creating higher highs, higher lows. So that's our daily low. Shouldn't be broken. So that's the daily swing low. That's our daily swing high because it already did a significant enough pullback for me to call it a swing high. It also broke internal structure. All right, so that's swing high. We have that demand, extreme demand. We can refine it to the single pivot right there. They didn't mitigate it, but that's fine. All right, so let's see for internal structure. So what I can see is once we got that chalk right there, that daily chalk, without daily chalk, but let's just put it that way. Once we had that daily chalk, we started creating internal structure right there, right there as well. So we had that as internal high. That eventually got broken right there. So we have our i-bos, daily i-bos, just right there. So currently we're in phase A, meaning we're in pro swing, pro internal on the daily. So internal is bullish, swing is bullish as well. We couldn't close above close above this height to confirm that as our new internal low. So for now, my internal low is still the same low, so it'll be this one. To having the daily internal low. There we go. So it'll be this one as our daily internal low. Let's see what's been mitigated and whatnot. So we have that extreme. It's been mitigated right there. Let me just fix the colors. So that's the daily. That's extreme daily as well, but I mean, if momentum is high, we can just mitigate the whole range rather than mitigate just the pivot, which is totally fine. Let's see. Did this low give us any chalk? No. All right. Let's just follow structure. So let's follow mitigations. This has been mitigated. All right. This fractal low has been mitigated, left us an inside bar, which been mitigated as well. And we have the last fractal demand or internal demand that's still not mitigated right there. So we still have this level not mitigated. Has inducement in front of it, just right there. All right. So that's AQ daily. So there's that. So what I can see from the daily is that we're currently at a internal demand. All right, internal demand, but this demand doesn't have any inducement, right? Doesn't have any inducement right there. No inducement. So let me just fix it. Borders black. So we have no inducement. So we will probably use that low as inducement for our next level. Also, if we draw our Fibonacci tool, then we can see that this level is in premium, this one is in discount. We're always looking at discount, always. So for me right now, I'm not really looking for longs until we get to discount. Yeah, so we also swept that high. If we break that low, then we'll become bearish in fractal structure, and then we can target that low as a potential area to look for longs from. So H4, let's see. All right, H4 quickly. Let me just put our levels. So let me just put this one as in the hours as well. So that's the level we're looking for price to get to. So it's that level. So for now, let me see. All right, H4, we're bullish. That's our, let me just put it, that's our swing low. H4 swing low. Yeah, swing low there. Yeah, that's a significant enough pullback for me. Also gave us an i-bos, so that's a swing high for me. Right there. This low swept liquidity, which is not bad to see. It's always good to see a sweep of liquidity, always. All right. The only unmitigated demand that I can see is that one. We already tapped into it. Let me see the internal structure. So that was our last internal high right there. We got the i-bos there, and then we switched bearish. And then from that level, then we got a new low here and a new internal low here. So our internal structure is still that high and that low. So internal is still bearish. All right. But as I said, I'm still looking for shorts, as in this low doesn't have any inducement. For me at least, I wouldn't count this as an adjustment to that level too far away, right? This low didn't really achieve anything. I mean, I would say yes, it did break, or it did give us a shock right there, but did it break the swing high? Not really. Also, this break of swing high is not enough significant to me. I mean, it's only a close above by few pips, and then we switched bearish right away. So I wouldn't consider this as a strong level. Also, once we reacted to that level, we didn't get any shock from it. So yeah, I'll still be very cautious to look for longs from this demand. Yeah, so for now I'll still follow the medium time frame structure, 15 minute, and we'll see if we're gonna hold this low or not. If this is gonna hold, then we need an i-bos. We need the H4 i-bos. If we get an i-bos there, then I'm gonna look for longs. But in the meanwhile, I'm just gonna follow internal structure and potentially continue shorting until we get a confirmation or an i-bos, a bullish i-bos. So that was our last low, right? And yeah, let's just put our refined demand there. H4 refined demand. There you go. In our daily level. And yeah, this has been mitigated. This not. So yeah, I like it. Let's see. So let's see on medium time frame what we got. So, all right. So let's take it a bit far and then we'll see for swing highs and lows. So that was our swing high. That was our boss. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I mean that's our continuation right there. All right. That was our boss right there. So that's our strong high, weak low. We just swept lows and then we broke higher. And then we just ran the highs and they gave us an i-bos there. So for now, to be fair, when I have this big of a range, let's say that's my swing high right there. All right. If that wanna hold, yeah, that's our swing high, and we just broke it there. So once we break it, that's our swing low. It's too much of a range for me. I wouldn't count that as swing low, especially when it's the same range as our swing high and swing low. in the H4. I just don't count it as H4 structure, as M15 structure. I keep it as H4 and treat each structure inside it as the M15. So potentially, I wouldn't look as this and count it as the swing low and swing high and then internal structure in there. I'll just count that as like the normal internal structure. I mean swing structure. So I'll just take this low as my last swing low there, and I'll count that as a boss, if that makes sense. So it's all right to reset structure once you know that your swing high and swing low in M15 are other higher time frame swing lows and swing highs. So yeah, it's better to just treat each individual time frame as its own, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna take that as my my swing structure. Yeah. Then we have that swing high, swing low, we broke it. We never closed above, just liquidation there. Swing high, swing low, we broke swing low again. All right, and then we broke again right there, and then the last one was just right there. Yep, there. I wouldn't count that as a swing high. I mean, that's just internal structure, right? So that's our swing M15 swing high. There you go. All right, I reckon this takes a bit of time. It's already 10 minutes in, but it's better to just put structures and put an idea to the chart, so then you know what you're trading, and you'll get it quite easily once you get into a position where you can take a trade, and then you know exactly what to do because you already have all time frames synced. Yeah, so that was our swing high supply right there. All right, so what happened? Let's see. So let me draw the internal structure for now. So that counts as internal there. All right, that's our internal there. That's our internal right there again, right? And that's our internal right there. So we broke it, i-bos, quite frank, directly. It's very easy to see. We broke with a lot of momentum, but it didn't push through. We just got a choke again. So that was our i-bos right there. And then we reacted to the internal demand, right, which pushed price higher. And then we got another i-bos there, all right. And the last one is right there. So now we have a bearish i-bos after we mitigated the extreme supply. So bearish i-bos. Yep, that's up. So now swing is bearish, internal is bearish. It's in line with our higher time frame idea of looking for shorts and potentially breaking this swing low. So I like it so far. Let's just double check if. So for now, I'm just gonna put every demand that we can react to and potentially give us a pullback from. So that's been mitigated. That's the internal one, been mitigated. Right, mitigated, that's unmitigated one there. Then we had that one, so that's the unmitigated one as well. We broke that low, so these are irrelevant for now. So I have two levels where I can look for price to start retracing from. Let's see about the internal structure. That was our internal high, internal low. We got a small pullback and then continuation. Would I count that as fractal? Probably not. I'll just count it as internal, to be fair. I mean, that's enough to call it internal for me. Fractal would be just a few candles. That's like 3, 4, 5 candles. I wouldn't call it just a normal fractal shifter, fractal structure. Let's draw our supplies. And yeah, so Frankfurt session just opened. Let's see what we can get. All right, so we created a new high. All right, so we created a new structure. Flip one as well. That's very good. I like it. We have our supply right there. Flip structure, reacted to the previous demand, and then broke it to the downside. Let's see if we get any sort of pullback. Not really. Would I count that as internal? No. That's not enough to be called as internal to me. All right. Now seeing the M5 what we have. So we have a chalk, M5 chalk. No, nothing. So we just reacted to that internal structure. I mean internal fractal structure right there. That fractal, and then we just continue to the downside. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. So that's our last internal high right there. Let me just remove these so we keep our chart OCD. All right, that's perfect. Now this is unmitigated. I mean, it's been mitigated to be fair with a wick just right there. I would say that this is the unmitigated high now, but of course we can keep in mind that this hasn't been mitigated all the way. It's just we tapped into that level. Didn't mitigate the whole range, so we need to keep that in mind. There you go. All right, so that's our internal high right there. Our M15 internal high. Where is it? Where is it? There you go. And we have a new range. So that's our internal high of swing. Sorry, not internal, swing high. All right. That's our boss right there. How are we looking in the H4? All right. So H4 potentially give us um, a new internal structure, but we need a close to confirm. So let's just continue with the M15 until we get more confirmation. This one is too far away to look for levels from where we can start reacting. All these are mitigated, all of them. Perhaps this week right here, even though it's mitigated, but it could potentially give us a pullback or something. Let me double check. Nah, I will count it as mitigated. Let's see what price will do. All right, so price mitigated our internal supply. Will it be enough for me to look for sells? First thing to do is draw my my Fibonacci. And yeah, so when I have a swing range, right, swing high and a swing low, potentially we don't have a swing low yet, but when we start the pullback, all I'm looking for is, do we have any supplies in that case, because we're bearish, do we have any supplies in discount, in premium, sorry? If yes, then I draw them. So this one would be my supply. That one would be my supply as well. And if you have anything in discount, I don't really look at it. So this one is our discount supply. It can work. It could. It's just if you take a trade in a discount supply looking for shorts, then you need to take into accountability that at any moment we can break that supply because it's not well priced. All right. So for me, it's just not worth it. So I don't trade supplies that are in discounts. And yeah, that simple. Can deliver, but it's just not something I'm looking for. Will we get a chalk by any chance? So we have that fractal demand right there, right? I mean, this fractal demand didn't give us anything. This low didn't break anything, so I wouldn't say it's strong. All right, we got that chalk, if that makes sense. See that chalk there, but chalk with a big momentum, so don't be surprised if we get any sort of continuation to the upside. Yep, there you go. And demand has failed. All right, let's see. We still have our supply. I mean, supply failed. We still have a supply there, but I wouldn't be keen. looking for sells there. Same thing. It's not in good. It's not well priced, so I'm not looking for any type of sells. Yep, and there you go. Yeah, that's what I meant by supplies in discounts are not worth it. You know. So we have an i-bos. Lovely. An i-bos there. Yeah. So this is phase C, basically, but we can't long it because price already reached EQ. This is officially our swing low, M15 swing low, and internal low at the same time. So that's our M15 swing low there. All right. So what I can see is that my session already over. So I'm gonna just skip to the next London session. There. Right. Okay. Yeah, so what happened? Price went into into premium. Didn't react to my supply, missed it by a few pips. But yeah, we can see the idea, right? The idea is there. It's like once price give you a boss, then it's better to look for entries only at the premium, not discount. Let's keep that in mind. And yeah, then price shifted the bearish and didn't give us any chalk until that point there. Created small internal structure there and then shifted the bearish, right? So we have a new range right there. So our new swing high is that one, right? The new one there. And yeah, let's see for our new internal structure. I would call that as the internal structure. Yeah, I would call it internal structure. Do we have our chalk line below? Yeah, that's our chalk line there. All right. All right, let's see the higher time frame. Oh, perfect, exactly as we anticipated. So we got that boss, the H4 boss there. Now I would say our target is that demand, but let's see what price will do. Will we get into the supply to continue lower? Let's see. So that's our H4 supply. All right, we can extend it till the wick, but for now we'll just take that one. All right, let's just copy it there. We have new internal range, which is that low. Yeah, so that low broke, give us an i-bos. So I will call that as internal high, right? Yeah. Now let's see. Let's follow price and see what happened. Let's take a look on the daily as well, just to make sure. Yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking at. Perfect. Yeah. So let's follow price. Let's keep on selling until we get to that demand. Yeah. So we have our swing range. All right. Let's put our supplies and our range, our Fibonacci range. So we have that as our extreme supply. I would call it extreme supply. I mean, to be fair, that's mitigated, right? So this extreme supply is mitigated already. Okay. We have that range there, which is not mitigated. So that's technically our extreme supply. Let me just, oh my days. Let me just pull that one a bit closer, just to keep my chart OCD. All right, lovely. So that's our internal, that's our daily, for our supply. We have another supply just right there, right? So pullback, continuation, we broke there, so below, that's our, I would say that's our supply as well, right there. I'll take just that low, that candle, just right there. I mean, yeah, let's keep the whole thing, right? We can also take the whole range, so we can just take the whole range right there. Do you have another supply? Not really. We do have inducement for that high, for that supply. So that's inducement. That's good to see. Always good to see. We have these low resistances that we can break at any time. And yeah, let's see if we can get perhaps any trade to the upside. So or do we have anything to play with here? So that's our internal high, right? That's our chalk line internal high. When we get an internal that's too far away from price, we can still play that pullback till there, but for that we need a new fractal structure to create. And quite frankly, I don't see it yet, but we could see it, right? Because what I can see is that this is an I chalk. So this is an I chalk, pardon. This is an I chalk, right? Which we used as liquidity, just as liquidity there. All right. So we had that as our demand, but it's been mitigated and pushed over, and then we have this as our new fractal demand. Let's see if we have any entry right there. Just a moment, let me double check. Yeah, are we reacting to any level? We just swept that low. Yeah, we could see reaction from here, to be fair, but we didn't get any chalk, so that's still tricky. That's trade in. That's so. If I want to get into a trade here, it'll be counter internal and counter swing and counter internal. So that'll be phase D. I don't trade those trades, but just to give you an idea, let's see if that trade would work out if we can follow the fractal structure. So I'll count that as my LC1, my fake break. Where is it? There. So entry would be the high, unless we break a low. Yeah, there you go. So we broke the low first and then the high, so that'll be there. That'll be 2 pips buffer. All right. And then our target would be a 1 2 3 before level. So just around there. 1 2 3.3, something like that. Let's see if Rest will hold up. Even though I'm not taking that trade, just wanna put a small experiment and see what price will do. Let's go to the 15-minute and see. All right. Yeah, so that's why it doesn't really work out. That's why this trade is not really a high probability. I mean, we didn't get any chalk, right? It's counter both swing and internal. So that's the exact reason why these trades they can work, right? But it's more or so you're trading against anything. This is like a falling wedge, and you're trying to get counter internal and counter swing, which is not the highest probability, which is not the smartest thing in either to do. So let's see what price did. So we got that fractal structure right there. Wait, let me just. So that didn't work. Boom. You could have protected the low as well, right? But yeah, it could still work. Let's see. So we protected that low right there. We had liquidity sweep, all right. And did we react to it? Yeah, we broke it. So we broke the low. So in that case, that would simply mean that we got a chalk here. I mean, an I chalk, sorry, there. So for me, that's just continuation of the internal pullback. So maybe we're ready then to continue the internal continuation to the downside. Let's see if we get something else. So we got another I chalk right there. Let's see if price will perhaps continue higher. I mean, that will be the objective, right? Because the objective is for price to push higher into that level. We don't have any confirmation yet. Here as well, we would like any sort of chalk, but we can't right here. So for me, our chalk line is there. Yeah, that would be very risky to take a trade from that level, you know. So we have a fractal internal fractal demand right there. We respected it. Let's see if we will continue bullish. And we didn't get an eye shock yet. All right. Yeah, we push lower. Perfect. So now, would I count that as a swing high or no? Let me see. Yeah, to be fair, this is swing structure to me. Even though we didn't get into, we didn't close or go into the internal supply, but I think I would say that that's enough for me to call it a swing structure. There you go. So I'll just move my swing high there. Yes, we didn't react to any supply, but of course we don't have to react to any supply to continue our trend, yeah. So all right, we got our chalk right there. All right, we have our supply, our only unmitigated supply, which is this one. Let's see what price will do. Okay, so we are at the supply. Let's see if we will react from it. No, we broke it. We got that flip right there, and we have that fractal demand now. Let's see if we're gonna respect it. Perfect. So we got our boss just right there. Let me double check if I missed anything. No, not really. All right, perfect. So we got our boss there. Perfect. That's that much with our analysis, our higher time frame analysis. So we got our boss. We have this flip demand right there. We have our extreme demand right there. All right. Yes, we don't have any liquidity here. No liquidity in the M15, and we have no liquidity there as well. I mean, if you would count that as liquidity, perhaps then yes, but yeah, we'll just put it just in case. So that'll be our liquidity. There you go. All right, let's check on what happened on 4 hour, right? So we got the chalk right there. We have this H4 fractal supply. All right. Let's see on the daily. We didn't quite react from exactly that level, so let's wait and see. Let's wait if price will continue lower, right? I mean, it could at any moment, so yeah, let's see. All right, let's see if price will do anything. Boom, boom. All right, just continue. So let's skip into the next London session as it's already 4. Right, we just pushed higher. Okay. Good to see. So just pushed higher. We broke past that level. All right, let me just extend that level then till there. Yes, that's more like it. Yeah. Let me just go to the daily to confirm. We have a big reaction. That's a big weak reaction. That's a very huge close. So let's just keep that in mind. Although we're bearish, but we did react heavily. Now our swing structure is as follow. Swing low, right there. H4 swing low. All right, let's draw our supply, our Fibonacci. So we're already at discount. Let's see if you get any chalk or if you can get any shift in structure that would that would tell us that price want to shift to the downside. Yeah. For now, let's mark our structure. So we have that as our new continuation boss. We're in this big range right there. We can react to any of the demands. That one failed. Any of the supply, sorry, that one failed. That one failed as well. So we only have one left. We'll see what price can do. So that's M15 demand. You have this demand as well, right there. That's our new swing low. All right, let's just put these right there. Let's see what price will do, right? Right, we have a sweep. We became bearish, so we reacted there. Right, we had sweep of liquidity right there, followed by a choke. Right, so internal structure might shift bearish. Let's see what will happen. I would say that's enough for me to call it a swing high. So would I consider that as a shift in structure? Let's see. Let's wait for the 5 minute. All right, so we had an LC1, right? All right, so we're in H4 supply. We didn't get any confirmation yet. We're still bullish in M15, so yeah, I mean, this is very risky. Although we mitigated the H4 refined supply, we got a liquidation followed by a choke. Yeah, I wouldn't take this trade. I mean, that's LC1. That's the LC1. It should be the LC1. All right. In the normal circumstances, if the trade is an internal, perhaps internal structure trade, then that'll be the LC1. That'll be the fake break there. And if it break that low, then it'll be the entry right there. Right. And stop would be 2 pips stop. All right. And you'll be expecting 1 to 3. So you'll be expecting this low to get broken. But again, this is very risky in this scenario as that's H4 range. We're bullish in the M15. Internal is bullish as well. Yeah, I mean it's not the best trade, although it could go to TP, but yeah, there you go. It could go to TP, but it's not the best trade, right? In the contrary, let me think. This trade could have worked if we just perhaps kept that as our swing structure. Let's see, as our swing high, right? And that as our swing low. Where is swing low? Where is swing low? Swing low. Right there, right? And that, let's call it internal, okay? Let's call it just i-bos. Right? And then this is internal as well. But we mitigated the extreme demand, all right? The extreme supply, sorry. And then we had liquidation followed by a shock. So in this case, we'd probably be more inclined to get a continuation bearish than bullish. So in this case, I'll say yes, that's a good trade, if that makes sense. We mitigated, swept liquidity, swept these highs, all right? Shifted bearish by getting a shock. So this momentum, basically this internal structure shifted bearish. It shifted bearish from the extreme supply. So this would be a great trade then, yeah. Yeah, I mean maybe I was wrong in calling the swing high. Yeah, I mean looking back through this trade, it would be so it's pro swing counter internal. So it'll be phase B. Yeah, this would be phase B, yeah. You know what? This is a good trade. I believe that this is a good trade, especially when our 1 to 3 is exactly at the low of at the internal low. So that if it breaks, then if it just sweep liquidity and then push higher, at least we get our target, if that makes sense. This, yeah, I believe this is a good trade. This is not a bad trade. Let's see what price will continue to later. Yeah, this is a good trade for sure, for sure. And now we get the i-bos right there. Yeah, so so the right call was to just call that as to call it a internal. There you go, internal structure, and keep that as our swing high. like that. And yeah, so we got the chalk there, h4 chalk there. We got the i-bos, so we're ready to continue lower. So yeah, this would be a great trade, and this was a great trade, although I didn't take it. But if I go back in time, I'll take it. I think this was an incredible trade. Swept liquidity, phase B from the extreme supply. We swept all these highs. All right, we shifted bearish, fractal shifted bearish, gave us only one supply to take sells from. All right, and yeah, he gave us an LC1. Clean. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take this trade every day. All right, so we have one. Let's see if you can get any more entries. So so we got that shift, the i-bos. Now, would I call this internal structure too? Would I? Now, this was our internal high, right? But we continued, and then we pushed lower. And would this be fractal? Yeah, I'll call that internal. Yeah, of course. I think this is internal to me. That's internal high. Yeah, I'll call that as internal high. And that's our internal low. So this should be our supply, right? And let's see if we got any entries. So did this candle break the previous candle's low or no? Low. Yeah, so this would be an LC1 for me at least. How I look at it. So this would be LC1 for sure. It's 1350. 15 plus 1. It's Tuesday. I'm not sure if we have any news, but yeah, the only supply that we have left is that one. That's the only supply that we have left. This has been mitigated. Yeah, that's the extreme. When we shift bearish or something and we create new structure, it's more inclined that we will respect that structure rather than just push till the extreme, if that makes sense. So I'll be willing to take a trade here. Yep. If we get our target, right? So we're in 2 pip stop, 2 pip buffer. Let's see if we get TP or stop loss. All right, stop loss. That's fine. Let's see what price will do. All right, did we sweep any liquidity or we closed just above? All right, we closed above, so I'm really intrigued now. Would I call this, let me see, would I call the whole range internal structure? Or would I call this internal structure? I'm not really sure, you know. And this is surely a bit small for me to call it internal structure. And the big internal would be that one, right? That one would be the internal high, and that one would be the internal low. But then I need price to give us a chalk from here to confirm the shift. So we got a chalk again there. That was a chalk. Does that mean that we shifted bearish now? Although we didn't mitigate any supply in premium. Let's see. Yeah, we just pushed lower. Wait, let me just double check here. So we just pushed higher. This was an LC1. Fake break there. Our entry would be there with 2p buffer. Let's see if we will get stopped in that case. Probably, yeah. Did we push lower then? Yeah, we pushed lower first. This wasn't a great trade, I would say. Perhaps if you covered lows. Yeah, I mean, I think my trade here was valid. I mean, this would be internal structure, even though this was the big one. But I will still call this as internal structure, right? We did in fact break the internal structure. We became bullish, but we broke it again. So that's our fake break basically. So I was right in taking that trade there, although the supply didn't have any inducement or anything. Probably that's why it didn't hold. So yeah, but the idea was right. The idea was right to get into sell there and get yeah, and get an LC1 from that level. The idea was correct. So now we have our new range, right? So our only unmitigated supply is that one, right? So now that's our internal high there. And yeah, we don't have an internal low yet, but our session ended. So let's skip to the next London session. Let's see if that get respected. Okay, so that's our internal low. All right, lovely. I like that. I like when it get really choppy like that. So that's our internal low, M15. That's still our internal high. We have this unmitigated extreme supply right there. Yep, extreme supply. That extreme supply does it have inducement? Not really, but it has these highs right there that I would call as inducement. Yeah, I like when I have like these double or equal highs that would serve as inducement. So let's see if we get any push higher with an LC2A, probably. Yeah, I mean from the lows, above. So that would be a choke, right? That would be a choke right there. And that would be our fractal high. Let's see if price will mitigate and do the both thing at the same time. So mitigate and give us an entry. But for now, it didn't give us a choke yet. So let's just keep waiting. I mean, we have no choke. That's just internal structure. Let's see. Never mind. It broke the low. All right. I mean, that was above. Yeah, that was our choke line. Price just pushed lower, reacted from that supply and pushed lower again. It didn't give us really anything to work with here. It's just internal structure, I mean fractal structure. Our choke line was right there, so yeah, we still have our unmitigated supply there. That's fine. That's fine. We have a new range now, a new internal range now, so let's work with it. So our new internal high is that one right there. Let me just remove these. All right. Our supply is that one. Our extreme supply is that one. Supply is that one too. Let's see if we can get perhaps a retracement into that level. Let's see. I mean, we have no things to keep in mind is that we have no liquidity here or inducement here. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, we broke that level. Yeah. Let's see. Can we get a choke perhaps? Because I don't think taking LC2A from that level is smart, is it? Lobby above, so we have no fractal low there. No fractal low here. We need the chalk, so that should be our chalk right there. That should be our chalk there. Yeah. Our chalk line. So that's a fake break. Let's see if we have a break of the high. Did we get chalk perhaps in the 15-minute? Not yet. Let's see. All right, we should have a chalk now. Yeah, we got a chalk in the 15-minute, just right there. I mean, right there. 15-minute chalk, 15-minute chalk. We have our new fresh supply. Let's see what price can offer us from there. All right. Could that be a choke? Yes. I mean, I1, so internal choke. So a fake break there. Would we break the high then? Let's see. All right, we broke the high. Lovely. So I just put a recap. What's happening here? So that's our internal low. All right, let's just put a recap. I'll just give a recap, okay? So we're bearish. All right, swing is bearish. That's objective is to break the weak medium time frame M15 swing low. All right. Swing high is there. We reacted to our supply in to our H4 supply, right? There, we reacted to our H4 supply, gave us a choke, and now we're pushing bearish. All right. So now the objective is to break that swing low, that weak swing low. All right. This is weak swing low, and to mitigate that demand. Okay. So we shifted the bearish, internal shifted bearish after mitigating the extreme supply, right? Our trade was there. Why? Although we're trading counter internal, but we got that sweep of liquidity, and this is phase B, the extreme demand, the extreme supply. So if this one breaks, then we have no other supply to look from sells from. So we can be aggressive and take phase Bs from here. Phase Bs is only traded once we mitigate the extreme supply or extreme demand in case we're bullish. Yeah, so what happened here is just price basically shifted bearish, internal shift, fractal shifted bearish. We had one supply, price gave us an LC1 from that supply, and ta-da, price just melted to downside. Could I keep perhaps the target into the swing low? Yes, I could. I mean, that would be the ideal target right there, 1 to 10. Until the swing low, but let's just keep that inside and just focus on 1 to 3s now, and then we'll see if we can perhaps extend or take profit into that target. What happened after? Price basically just created some new fresh internal lows. Now that I'm looking at it, perhaps I would not call this internal because we already formed this fractal demand here, fractal structure here, so perhaps I would call this fractal as well. Yeah, looking at it now, this doesn't look like internal, because that's the internal structure. This doesn't look like an internal structure, right? Price pushed higher, didn't get a mitigation into or mitigation of any supply. We got that shock then, but then price went to demand to supply, to fractal supply. It did give us an entry right there, but for it to be a valid entry, it needed to cover the low, the high. Sorry, so yeah, so our entry would be that, like that, but if we cover the highs, then we should be fine, and our target would be there. Should be fine, but we would need to wait the other day. So yeah, this would be a loss as well. If I don't take this loss, I'll take that loss then, if that makes sense. Yeah, this is invalid. This would be just the chalk line then, because we wouldn't consider that as internal. So those mistakes I need to fix. In case we have an internal structure and then we form another, let's say, fractal structure, I need to check and ask myself, is this pullback enough for me to call internal? Because we already have another pullback right there, but this one is just fractal. So is it the same as fractal? Is it the same size as the fractal pullback? Or is it big as the internal pullback? I need to ask myself these questions, and yeah, so yeah, we mitigated there. We set the low and then we set the high. Yeah, so that's a valid chalk. I would definitely get stopped out here, which is fine, but yeah. So those the trades that I took. So I took that one. This one is invalid. This one is very valid. This one is a good one. This one is invalid. I should have took that trade or taken that trade. It would stop me out, but it's fine. Totally fine. Valid trade, very good opportunity, very good trade. So yeah. Now we have another new internal structure. All right. Price mitigated. Did it even mitigate the extreme? I mean, it should, yeah. Let's see on the H4 how it looks like. Yeah, I mean, it did. It did. This one missed by like a pip or so, not even. But I would call it mitigation. This would be called mitigation to me because depending on the broker, you will not, see 1 pip difference or so. But I'll call this as mitigation, right? Price then gave us a chalk, all right, and yeah, price left us with one supply there, which we got an LC2A from. So yeah, I'm happy with taking LC2A from this level. So we have a new high. If we broke the high first, so that'll be ours. Okay, we get tagged there. We have a 2 pip stop loss. All right. All right, let's see if price would get into our target. Our target is a bit far from the internal low, but that's fine because our objective is to break the swing low. All right, let's see. Will this trade hit our TP or our stop loss? All right, stop loss. So that's another loss. Let's see if we could fix this. All right. So we fractal switched bullish here as well. Okay. That's still our internal supply. That's the extreme refinement of it. So is it because we didn't really mitigate the extreme or we missed it by a point? The price didn't react to respect the chalk, the fractal structure. I'm not quite sure, Maybe price will respect the chalk there then. Let's see. Will it break then? Yeah, and we got mitigation. I could take that trade as well. That's an LC2A for sure. Yeah, that's an LC2A. That'll be, where is an LC2A? Fake break there. Yeah, so just to give a recap of what happened here. So price basically what happened is that price gave us a shock from an internal demand. I mean, internal shock. This is not a shock, internal shock, all right? So it's not as strong as a shock, right? Because it's internal, but still, it's considerably enough for me at least. So this would be considered in any scenario as a shift in structure, and perhaps the internal structure would then become bearish now. But here's our problem. We didn't really mitigate the extreme supply, right? We missed it by a point. At first, I took that trade because I thought that, right, we didn't even mitigate it, but it could be, like, if it's not that 1 pip or like 0.5 pip or a pip even, I would just neglect it, and just, yeah, just not really pay attention to it. But I kept in mind as well that we could continue bullish and mitigate that supply, and also give us our liquidation. I kept that in mind. I kept that in mind as well. So we could now see price continue lower and forming. So I took that trade, that LC2A, but I'm also happy to take that LC2A once we mitigated the whole extreme. So I'll be happy to take that trade as well. Let's see. Okay, we got tagged. Let's see if we continue bullish. Let me just give it a 2 pip stop loss buffer. A 1, 2, 3 would be that low. Perfect. Let's just see if price will give us a continuation or not. All right, we got stopped again. All right, so we have a mitigation of the internal. That will be our chalk line right there. Did we get any new chalk perhaps, or LC2A? Not really, no. We didn't. Was that news? Wednesday 3, I'm not sure. All right, so we have chalk there. So that'll be a fake break, right? And that's our fake break as well, okay? We mitigated that level. That'll be our entry to be buffer. All right, and TP would be, as always, 123.3. So count for commission, let's see. All right. So we had that news. I'm not sure what happened there. We just mitigated supply higher, and then yeah, I mean price gave us a choke, right? Let me just check that one. That'll be a better entry perhaps. So once price gave us that shock, we had the extreme demand supply right there. All right. Let me just put that one there as it's been mitigated. Just remove that one. All right. Let's see if we have any entry from this level. No, no entry there. Yeah, price just continued bearish, right? Let's see if we're gonna break the low. So 22 past. Let's go to the next London session. All right. We're still in that trade. So for now, we got 2 losses, 1 trade that is still not a loss yet. Let's take a look at H4 and see how it looks like. Right, still the same thing. We want to break that swing low. Internal structure is still bearish. I mean, it's not worth to follow the fractal structure, right? Because internal is still bearish. We set that low. We got that shock there. Would we respect it or not? Yes, we did. All right, we had an i-bos then, just right there. Our stops are break even at this point. I mean, I will not risk it and let the price get all over break even, although we could still mitigate some higher levels or deeper levels just right there. But I wouldn't let price just push higher than this, you know. So new internal high right there. All right, new internal low just right there. Okay, we're bearish still. We're bearish still. This was our technically our flip, but it doesn't have any inducement, so be aware of this trade, right? This was mitigated. I would say this is only a mitigated level. Let's see if price will continue bearish or bullish. All right, continue bearish, and we hit TP. Good, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. Our chalk line was right there. Did we get chalk perhaps? No, we didn't get chalk, right? The low here is 97, the low there is 98. So yeah, we didn't really. Oh wait, we did. Yeah, we did. Okay, never mind. This could be a trade. I didn't pay attention to it, but this could be a trade. Let me see. Did we get an entry there? But let's see in 5 minutes. So that's the level. We do have an inducement right there. I mean LC1, sorry, right there. But we need a mitigation. All right, so LC1 would be, where should it be? I mean, not even an LC1. I think we have an LC2A right here. So this low, okay, from this low, did we get any chalk there? But we broke structure, no. So this wouldn't count as an LC1, right? Yeah, this LC2A. Yeah, this wouldn't count as an LC2A. This would though, and get already mitigated. So when we broke that low and pushed higher, so this would count as an LC1. All right, we pushed higher. So that will be our entry to big buffer. Would we get stopped? No, not really. and our target would be 1, 2, 3, and there you go. Yeah, lovely trade. This would be a lovely trade. Yeah, this would be a good trade. I mean, just to be safe, just add that pip. You know, just add it. Just add that pip and cover the high, just for, you know, just to cover your stop. And let's see if price will hit the final TP. Yeah, so this would be a good trade. I just didn't pay attention really close to it, but this would be a great trade. Yeah, I would say so as well. I mean, we got chalk. We didn't mitigate premium, but of course we switched bullish, and our objective would be to break that swing low. So yeah, this is a good trade. I like it. Yeah, this was a very good session right here. So we got 3 wins, 3 losses. I mean, we could, I'll do a recap at the end of what could be done to prevent further losses and what could be done to get the other wins as well. Yeah, let's just finish the day and see if we get anything on Thursday as well, on Friday, sorry. So this was past 4, so let's go to next London session. All right, lovely. So we're Friday. Let's just get a recap there. So we have our new range, swing range. So that's the boss, right? Right there. So we have our new swing high, which would be this range here. Okay, that's our swing high. We left our extreme demand just there. I mean, extreme supply, sorry, there. So that's our extreme supply, H4 supply. All right. I think that's only a mitigated supply. Yeah, everything here is mitigated. Every supply here is mitigated. So let's not pay attention. I'm waiting for price to give us perhaps a chalk in the H4 or anything that would suggest that we could perhaps see any movement to the upside from this daily demand, right? Because that's the objective, right? That's a daily internal low. That's the daily internal high. All right. And we're potentially looking for price to just push higher from that level, right? So below this closed below, yeah, this closed below the previous no, so that would be our chalk line right there of the daily. Yeah, didn't get mitigated. It got mitigated, yeah. So let's wait and patiently see. Let's see the medium time frame. What does it tell us? So we just got our boss, right? Our structure shift there. Let's see. We got boss right there. All right. Would I count that as a M15 swing? Not really, because look at our overall M15. So I'll count that as internal structure. All right. So that's our swing high still. That's our boss, and so that's our shift in M15 internal, M15 internal there too, M15 internal here as well, and last M15 internal break was there. All right, and this one. All right, so what's happening here is that internal is still bearish. Okay, internal is still bearish. That's our internal high of M15, right? And that's our internal low, M15 internal low. All right, we got a sweep of LQ here, and we shifted bullish. So in the fractal structure, so this was our chalk line. All right, we pushed higher, created, let's say fractal structure. Let's call it just fractal structure, right? Price then reacted to the extreme flip. I mean, extreme, yeah, let's call it a flip that caused, or fractal flip that caused price to push higher. So that'll be the M15. It then led us to have another fractal low here. Did this one cause anything? Let's see. So bearish below. Yeah, so we have no fractal shift. So this low didn't cause anything, but because we already had the cause, so we could see potentially a push from here, right? If we get a choke right above that level. No, we didn't. Perfect. All right, so let's just keep following internal structure and see if we would get that break. Lovely, we got that break. Good. So we have a new internal range. Let's see if we will break that internal range to the upside to start perhaps the daily pullback, a daily continuation. Let's see. All right, would we get the choke? Would we get the choke? So below, 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 below. Yeah, so that's our choke line. We got a choke there. We got our demand right there. All right, do we have an LC1? No, not really. Will we push higher from here? Let's see, let's just skip candles and see what happened. We swept that low. All right, so this must be NFP then. Yeah, I mean Friday on the first Friday of the month, so that must be NFP. Let's see what happened with NFP. So we pushed higher, right, and we got a new structure shift. And yeah, then let's go to the next day. Let's see just what happened. All right, we got the i-bos then. Perfect. So we mitigated that low, right? And we finally get the i-bos. So below, 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 below. This one didn't close below, so this would be our choke. Not i-bos, sorry, I was saying i-bos. A choke is what I meant. So now we could confidently say that we started the push higher towards the extreme supply. So I would just mark my swing low right there. H4 swing low. So now what we can see is potentially a push to the upside, breaking that swing high, and potentially looking for price to continue higher into that swing high, that weak swing high. Yeah, so let's see. M15, let's just draw our structure. So we got that break there. All right, then price pushed higher, didn't break, and then pushed higher, and then we broke it there. So that'll be our internal high, right? Because that's the highest point that caused that boss, or that i-bos there. Could even take that one. I could even take that one, to be fair. There, yeah. That's better to me. Yeah. Yeah, and price pushed higher, internal high. That's it. We still have that as our swing high, right? And I would call that our swing low because it gave us a boss, an i-bos. So that's enough for me to call it a swing low. M15 swing low. And yeah, now we're bullish on the M15. I mean the internal M15. All right, so we completed our first week or two of January 2026. 2026 exactly. Let's see. Let's get a recap. So the objective, the whole goal was for price to push to the daily demand. All right. This demand wasn't strong. It didn't have any any inducement. Didn't sweep any liquidity. Nothing. So didn't even, it failed to break the high, the previous high. So this is weak. It can be used as inducement for the previous demand. So that the objective was to play that pullback till that demand, which is in discount as well. H4 was bullish, but I didn't like the way it closed there. Not a strong close, just with a few pips candle, and we just shifted bearish right away. We broke structure. We didn't get any entry here, but we broke structure, right? I mean, didn't we get any entry before we break structure? No, not really. We didn't. We just broke structure. We left a flip. That price went to, all right. It gave us an i-bos before. It gave us an i-bos. It gave us an entry. So M15 was bearish. We had that swing high, that swing low. Internal shifted bullish, continued price to push higher. It went to the extreme supply, so that was the last point before price break basically structure. All right, it swept that liquidity right there, gave us like a liquidity sweep, liquidation, and then boom, it shifted bearish in the fractal. All right, left us with one supply. Basically, I took that trade from the supply and ta-da. Now, that could be, our target could be the swing low, of course, and we could just keep on trading these lows. So that's our overall target, and you could just keep that target there 100%, because the whole time frame, all time frames are basically in sync with that, and we don't have anything that would basically stop price from going lower, anything on the H4 nor on the M15. So that's the first trade. Second trade was a mistake, to be fair, because I thought this would be an internal structure, but it isn't, because, well, this looks similar to this one, and this one is a fractal structure that basically gave us an i-bos. So this is a fractal structure as well, right? Because it's inside the internal. It looks like this. So this would be a fractal structure, fractal, fractal. So I wouldn't call this internal structure. So what you could do here is wait for price to basically push higher. Of course, we just shifted bearish, so don't expect price to go all over and mitigate the extreme, right? All discount. So this is where discount could be overlooked, and you can perhaps not even look at it. Then we just pushed higher, shifted bullish, gave us a choke. Price mitigated deeper into the supplies. It swept liquidity, yeah, which I like here. And then it swept that high there, all right? And then it basically shifted bearish, all right? Once it gives us that choke, okay, where right there, okay, we had an LC2A there, okay, I mean LC1 there. That was on my entry. That was the stop, all right. 2p buffer, you'll get stopped out, which is unfortunate, but in this case, just protect the high, to be fair. Like, just protect the high, I think. And you have a long, you have a lot, you have a big target. You can just protect the high and just target 1 to 3, right? I mean, yeah, I think it's worth it to just protect the high, you know, because why not? I mean, you'll stay in trade for a day or so, right? And you'll stay through the whole night. But I think it's better to just protect the high, you know. It's small. We just had the chalk. We didn't mitigate premium, right? We had got the chalk. We have a very good supply. But of course, we could just, let's say, run through that level, not respect it entirely, right? And then push lower. So it's better to just protect the high, I would say. So this would be an ideal trade. You could target the low as well, right there. So yeah, this would be an ideal trade as well, all right? Price then didn't mitigate the supply, didn't get any shock right there, so price just pushed higher, created some structure and pushed lower. I mean, pushed lower after creating some structure. Let me just double check if this low closed below. So this one, this low is 40, that low is 40, yeah, so that's a double bottom. Unfortunate. If we got a line there, then that would be the chalk, and price would become bearish after that chalk, okay? So we didn't get anything. That's fine. Price created structure and pushed lower again. Gave us another internal structure. Okay. Yeah, price. What price did after is just pushed lower, mitigated the extreme. But the problem is that at first I thought that the extreme would be mitigated, but it didn't. It was just 1 pip far away, so I took that trade after we got the eye choke. It didn't really go to TP, which is fine. All right, it stopped us out. Gave us another LC2A, stopped us out. But then we had the news, which gave us another LC2A. Got into that trade. Price hit TP with that. Give us a choke. You could have maybe waited for price to, you know, after LC2A give you a better entry, and you could take that trade perhaps. Like something around that line of, like, if you go into 061, protect the high, and you could get 1 to 3, 1 to 4 easily. That could work as well. Hold that trade through the day. Boom, 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 boom. Through the night, sorry. Morning, created a new internal high, internal low, all right, internal structure, new one. Price pushed to the what do you call it? Pushed through and mitigated the flip supply. All right, this flip is what caused us the i-bos. Then we got chalk. We got one fractal supply, which is the extreme fractal supply that caused us the chalk. Price then went and mitigated that one, gave us a clean entry there. A clean flip, LC1. And again, just protect the highs. Now you're trading internal structure, just protect the highs. I mean, there's nothing to lose, right? So I protected the highs, and price gave us 1, 2, 3, clean 1, 2, 3. All right. And yeah, this 1, 2, 3 was a bit further than the M15 low. But again, that's totally fine, you know. Price then pushed lower. We mitigated the daily, aka this level that we were looking to trade from. Let's just copy it there, or to buy from. All right. After this one is the daily level. We mitigated it. Okay, we had NFP days. Price just pushed lower and then broke the high on NFP, and yeah, we got an i-bos right there. So that's our i-bos. Internal is now bullish. So that's, yeah, still our internal low, our swing low, but still our internal low as well. And that's potentially our internal high. So yeah, that's our recap for the 2 weeks and what happened on the first week of January. Let's do a quick math recap. So we got 1, 2, 3, 3 losses. All right, 3 losses. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. All right, so in total we got 3.3, 4.5, 3, and 3.3. So let's just call that 3 and 3 is 6, plus 4, that'll be 10. So about 16%, 16R minus, let's say, losses 3R. So we made the total of like 13R, maybe a bit more, but that's fine. Let's just call it 13R. And 13R if TP is M15 weak low. But if not, then it'll be 1, 2, 3, I'll be 12R minus 3, which would be 9R, which is still totally fine, you know. All right, so if you get 4 wins, that'll be 12 minus 3, that'll be 9R. Totally fine. That's totally fine, yeah. That's very good, actually. Not even in 2 weeks, 9R. Very good. So lessons, I'll just say perhaps when trading one, okay, let's just call it first lesson. When trading internal structure with clear M15 target, aka M15 weak, low, or high, just cover the POI high or low, of course, internal one. After getting into the trade, as long as you get your target 1, 2, 3 before breaking the M15 target, of course, weak level. All right. Second lesson would be after i-bos, look if you get if you have perhaps a fractal structure in the middle of it. If yes, then any small structure after the i-bos, similar size to the one in the lid, in the leg inducement, would be called a fractal structure too, and not an internal. Perfect. So yeah, these are the lessons. Very, very good trades, clean structure, a lot to learn from this. I'll go over these notes and these lessons and look at them again, go into more details and see how I can implement these into my trading. And yeah, so that was it for backtesting from the 1st of January till the 12th of January.